The Caribbean Sea has always stood as one of the most peaceful stretches of water on Earth. Turquoise waves, bright sun, and quiet islands drifting through time. But now these waters tremble with the deep roar of American engines. A massive U.S. Navy deployment has taken position across the region, stretching from Florida's southern edge to the distant borders of South America. Official statements insist this is a counter-narcotics operation. But the ships, their numbers, their firepower, nothing about this looks routine. This is something much bigger, something the world needs to understand. This documentary uncovers the hidden layers behind this deployment, its motives, risks, and the shadow it casts over the Caribbean. For weeks, small fishermen were the first to notice strange silhouettes on the horizon. Massive destroyers, unmarked helicopters, unknown aircraft flying unusual paths. No announcements, no warnings, just quiet movement. This kind of silent buildup is a classic U.S. tactic before major operations. Ships appear one by one, forming a pattern that only becomes clear when the final piece arrives. By the time the public heard anything, most assets were already in position. The Caribbean is more than a sea. It is a strategic crossroads. It controls access between North and South America. It connects global trade routes. It hosts vital undersea communication cables. Foreign activity in this region has increased, especially from China and Russia. The U.S. cannot allow hostile influence near its doorstep. This deployment sends a message: the Caribbean remains under American watch. This is not a normal drug interception task force. This fleet includes Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, littoral combat ships, surveillance aircraft, Marine rapid response teams, special operations support craft. These vessels carry missile shields, torpedoes, long-range sensors, things not needed to chase smugglers. This is a combat-ready formation, prepared for confrontation, prepared for escalation. Behind closed doors, analysts admit the truth. The deployment is really about Venezuela. The nation is backed by Russia, China, and Iran. Foreign equipment flows into its ports. American intelligence fears missile systems or foreign bases could appear here. The Caribbean deployment faces Venezuela directly. This is not coincidence. This is pressure. As ships took positions, something else happened quietly. Nighttime helicopter flights, unmarked aircraft, encrypted communications. These signs point to U.S. Special Forces already active on the ground. Their missions remain classified, but patterns suggest recon on foreign activity, mapping of smuggling routes, preparing possible extraction zones. This is the silent war behind the visible one. Caribbean governments publicly welcome U.S. cooperation. Privately, they are anxious. They fear that a standoff between global powers could drag their islands into chaos. But they cannot openly oppose Washington. Most rely on U.S. trade, protection, and diplomatic support. So they stay quiet and hope the storm blows over. The United States has fought drug trafficking for decades, but never with full military strike groups. Destroyers don't chase speedboats. Missile systems don't intercept small-time smugglers. This explanation is a curtain, a polite narrative. The real purpose lies deeper: geopolitical, strategic, and military. Russia has quietly increased its naval activity in the Caribbean. Submarines believed to be Russian have been detected near vital undersea cables. A single cut to these cables could disrupt banking systems, internet lines, and government communications across the region. The U.S. sees this as an unacceptable threat, hence the heavy deployment. From Jamaica to Trinidad, local fishermen and coastal residents feel a strange tension in the air. Warships hum in the distance, Humvees move through ports, helicopters circle at night. People worry, not about drugs, but about superpowers clashing near their islands. The Caribbean has seen hurricanes, but never a storm like this. Above the Caribbean, the air has changed. Surveillance aircraft, P-8A Poseidons, E-2D Hawkeyes, and unmanned drones circle like silent guardians. Their radars can see through storms. Their sensors can track submarines hundreds of meters deep. Nothing moves in the sky or the sea without being recorded. This level of surveillance isn't normal. This is wartime monitoring, activated before the first shot is ever fired. For years, rumors of foreign submarines in the Caribbean felt like speculation. But now, acoustic signatures have confirmed it. Submarines of Russian origin moving close to undersea cables. These cables carry global financial data, government communications, and internet signals. If cut, chaos. The U.S. Navy knows this, and their anti-sub warfare teams are fully activated. Buoys, drones, sonar nets, the ocean floor has become a battlefield of sound. Every major U.S. naval deployment carries a hidden edge. Its special forces, SEAL teams, Marine raiders, cyber warfare units, intelligence gatherers. They move silently, operating at night, often deploying from submarine docks or small black boats. Their missions may include tracking cartel militias armed by foreign states, mapping potential landing zones, sabotaging hostile equipment, extracting human intelligence assets. The world may never hear about these missions, but they shape the entire conflict. Cartel smugglers use advanced tactics, radar-absorbent paint, low-profile semi-submersibles, and nighttime crossings. But lately, they've reported something new. Unmarked military craft, silent engines, boats that appear out of nowhere and disappear just as fast. These vessels belong to U.S. Special Mission Units, designed for quiet interception. The message is clear. Nobody moves through these waters without being seen. Caribbean governments walk a dangerous tightrope. They rely heavily on U.S. support, but they also fear a regional conflict dragging them into the fire. Behind closed doors, diplomats plead for restraint. They ask the U.S. for guarantees that their islands won't become battlegrounds. Washington's response is calm but firm. The stability of this region is our priority, by any means necessary. No nation is more unsettled by the U.S. deployment than Venezuela. Coastal radars are on full alert. Anti-aircraft systems operate day and night. Navy frigates patrol nervously, shadowing American ships from afar. Venezuelan leaders fear the deployment is a precursor to something larger, perhaps a blockade, or worse, a strike. For now, both sides avoid direct confrontation, but the tension is suffocating. Modern warfare isn't just missiles and soldiers. It's frequencies, codes, pulses of energy crossing the sky. U.S. ships now intercept encrypted foreign communications day and night. Cyber teams analyze signal spikes coming from coastal bunkers and unknown vessels. Foreign analysts attempt the same, listening, probing, trying to decipher U.S. movements. This is the war no one sees, but everyone fights. If one symbol defines modern power, it is the drone. And the Caribbean sky is now full of them. Long-endurance drones patrol at high altitude. Smaller ones zip across coastlines, scanning for vessels. Night drones equipped with thermal sensors hunt for unusual heat signatures. This kind of drone saturation indicates long-term plans, not a short mission. The U.S. is preparing to stay. Cargo ships carrying food, oil, and supplies now face constant inspections. Helicopters hover above them. Naval vessels request identity checks. Insurance premiums skyrocket. Delays ripple across the region, impacting everything from tourism to fuel delivery. Civilians feel the tension long before politicians do. What began as a U.S. operation is now attracting global attention. Russia increases its reconnaissance flights. China boosts satellite coverage over the region. Iran-linked networks attempt to exploit the chaos for new smuggling lines. The Caribbean, once a peaceful paradise, has become a chessboard. The U.S. Navy's silent buildup in the Caribbean was no coincidence. For days, intelligence reports tracked unusual radar signatures near Venezuela. American analysts believed something was about to change, and fast. The calm sea masked rising tension, and Washington knew time was running out. While U.S. ships moved closer, Venezuela increased coastal defenses. Radar sites went active. Anti-ship missile batteries moved into new positions, and military patrols along the coastline doubled overnight. The message was clear: we're watching. Inside the United Nations, ambassadors clashed. The U.S. accused Venezuela of destabilizing the region. Venezuela accused America of provocation. The world watched, waiting for a spark that could ignite a regional conflict. Cuba, Venezuela's strongest regional ally, announced naval coordination patrols. This raised alarms in Washington. A two-front watch meant more pressure on American fleets and a far more unpredictable battlefield. In response, Washington authorized an expanded mission. Additional P-8 surveillance aircraft were deployed. Electronic warfare teams went active, and a third destroyer was placed on standby. The U.S. was preparing for escalation, even if it didn't want one. American drones spotted unidentified vessels moving at night with no transponders. Their origin was unclear, their purpose even more mysterious. The discovery triggered a 24-hour intelligence scramble. Analysts feared a Russian connection. In the past, Moscow supplied Venezuela with weapons, training, and intelligence gear. If Russia was involved again, this small standoff could explode into a global flashpoint. A Marine Rapid Response Force quietly deployed to a nearby island. Official reason? Training exercises. Unofficial reality? Preparation for evacuation missions or something far more serious. Colombia, Brazil, and several Caribbean nations voiced concern. Some warned of foreign interference. Others supported the U.S. deployment. The region was splitting, and fast. As dawn approached, the U.S. fleet went into full alert. Radar screens lit up. Pilots were ordered to stand by, and commanders expected a confrontation at any moment. The Caribbean had become a chessboard, and every move now mattered. Just before sunrise, a sudden flare streaked into the sky near the Venezuelan coast. American ships paused, sensors locked on. No missiles fired, but the flare was a message: we see you, don't come closer. In Washington, senior officials gathered in the Pentagon's Secure Command Center. Satellite images were updated. Military advisors debated possible outcomes. The president received a simple briefing: the situation may escalate within 24 hours. American intelligence hinted at a possible secret Venezuelan coastal base. This base, if confirmed, could house long-range anti-ship missiles. This raised one terrifying question inside the U.S. Navy: are we already inside their strike range? Suddenly, Venezuelan fighter jets took off for combat patrol. Minutes later, U.S. FA-18s launched from the carrier to shadow them. Two sets of jets flew dangerously close. One mistake, one miscalculation, could trigger a war neither side wanted. News networks broke the story worldwide. Phrases like Caribbean crisis, U.S.-Venezuela clash, and potential naval confrontation began trending. Social media boiled with speculation. The world was suddenly watching the Caribbean like never before. A last-minute diplomatic call between Washington and Caracas failed. No agreements, no de-escalation, only accusations and warnings. Tension reached its highest point yet. Then came the most alarming discovery. A submarine, identity unknown, detected near the U.S. fleet. Silent, deep, watching. Commanders feared the worst. Is this Russian? The fleet shifted into anti-submarine mode immediately. To deter any miscalculation, the U.S. Navy executed a controlled show of force. A destroyer fired a low-range warning shot, not at any vessel, but as a signal, we are ready. The ocean thundered. Everyone understood the meaning. Late at night, a private diplomatic message arrived in Washington. It came from a South American mediator. The contents were brief but shocking. Venezuela is willing to negotiate, but fears a foreign power is influencing the crisis. The situation was more complicated than anyone assumed. By midnight, both fleets held their positions. Tension remained thick. Engines hummed in the dark. Pilots slept in their flight suits. Commanders waited for orders that could shape the future of an entire region. This was the Caribbean crisis, a dangerous dance of power, pride, and uncertainty. Subscribe for more intense war breakdowns, real-time analysis, and deep dives into global conflict zones. Your support helps us bring these stories to life.